Chris, thanks for joining me on today's Spotlight. So it's Chris Thompson from You Smart Thing. Chris, over to you. Introduce us to your business, please.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thanks for inviting me onto Business Spotlight. So You Smart Thing is the world's leading travel demand management platform. What? Travel demand management platform. So we basically strive to enable visitors to all types of organization, be they major festivals, sporting events, venues, hospital campuses, university campuses, to have a personalized low carbon travel plan, showing them the best and most sustainable way to get to and from their destination. And in so doing, we create a travel demand forecast, which we share with the venue owner or the destination, which allows them in turn to monitor the emissions generated by people, the carbon emissions generated by people traveling to and from their destination, and nudge that behavior to reduce their overall carbon footprint, or at least the carbon footprint associated with visitor travel.
Wow. Sounds complex.
It sounds it, but it's very simple. In reality, you book a ticket to somewhere, you get a link, and it says this is the best way to get here, and it's got the lowest carbon option promoted at the top. So we really strive to promote walking and cycling if you're within a walking or cycling distance, for example. And then beyond that, it's public transport, or maybe a hybrid journey, allowing you to park somewhere and then get public transport to save congestion and emissions in and around the venue or destination that you're heading to.
Fantastic. So you probably alluded to this by telling us that you're the world's #1 anyway, but what would make you stand out from your competition?
There's two key things, really. Our biggest competitor, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but our biggest competitor is kind of Google. Your default behavior, if you're going to plan a trip anywhere, is, of course, use Google or Apple Maps. There are several other apps that people use. And those are the default thing. What makes us different is, as an organization, we give you the opportunity to literally plan the route that you want people to take. So if you're a football stadium and you want to guide away fans to a certain gate and home fans over here, our system will literally do that. So you're in control of the route that the system gives people. And we can change that route by time of day, by different ticket holder, or somebody made an appointment through a different way. So it's like having your own Google Maps in a way that you can offer to your customers. The second USP, I suppose, of our platform is that you capture and you own all the data, which is really important. So many organizations spend hundreds of thousands on marketing, and then when it comes to, well, how do I get to you? They say, oh, yeah, just go and use Google or whatever. You're throwing that data away. It's key customer information that you can use for marketing applications, as well as I say, monitoring your overall carbon footprint.
Oh, great, thank you. So, exciting times for the business by the sounds of it. Where's it going over the next 3 to 5 years? What are the aspirations?
Yeah, so we started back in 2014. We spent about 5 years in kind of stealth mode, building out our technology platform. And to all intents and purposes, we're a tech platform, or a green tech platform. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we've had a tremendous time. Surprisingly, perhaps through COVID, we ended up selling our software back to transport operators to allow them to ration the amount of people using public transport in line with changing COVID restrictions. We all remember, is it on, is it off, the lockdown throughout. Coming out of that period, we signed up various theatres, festivals, and probably the biggest contract we've delivered, in fact, regionally, I know, Andy, you're not from far away as well, was the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, where we did all of the travel planning for all the ticket holders for the Commonwealth Games. Building on that, moving forwards, for us, the next 3 to 5 years are all about building a £100 million business, deploying our technology as far and wide as we can. We're already looking at major events over in New York and Australia, alongside, for example, Wimbledon this year, who are deploying our technology for the championships.
Definitely exciting times.
Yes. Hair raising, or hair losing, perhaps, is my head's migrating slowly down my face. So if anyone's got any good beard tips, by the way, drop it in the link.
So 10 years in, congratulations. That
Yes,
in itself is a really good achievement. What have been your biggest learnings since you've been a business owner, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sending over some bullet point prompts around these questions in advance. And there's so much you learn, isn't there, through life? And I was trying to address this question and avoid giving a cliched answer. And I'm afraid I probably haven't. But one thing that I think I've been told throughout my years in business, and it is a general mantra, is try not to be all things to everybody. Try and stay focused. Stay focused on one thing, one value proposition, anchor that, and really sort of, conquer that idea or market. I had a business previous to this, and I followed that mantra, and it was actually a music distribution platform, a music technology distribution platform, selling downloads and tickets and merchandise and such. And our biggest client was EMI Records, and we did websites for Pink Floyd and Sigur Rós, the little-known ambient Icelandic band. I say little-known. Hopefully there are people out there who go, "Wow, you did Sigur Rós, that's great." So in that instance, our primary client was EMI Records. A chap called Guy Hands came in. It was in the news, people may remember, and bought EMI Group, and stripped out the whole layer of senior management that I was dealing with. And 90% of our revenue came from that one account.
Oh.
And I learned that having all your eggs in one basket is a bitter mistake. Very luckily, I went on to work for the other 10% of the company, which was PS Entertainment Group, and had a great time there. But yeah, so stay focused, but don't put all your eggs in one basket is kind of the key thing that I think I've learned.
Yeah, great. Good answer. Thank you. And what about the biggest challenge then, since you've been a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, this is a cliched answer, and I'm sure other business owners will recognize this, but it has to be people. It really has to be people. I think finding the right team and building the right culture around that team is the biggest sort of challenge and opportunity that anybody in business is faced with. And I think that extends to customers as well. It's difficult, I think, when you've got a value proposition that can work in different market sectors. It's really important to find people that will really understand what you're trying to achieve, understand the value that it can deliver to them, and then you create evangelists. And if we can start to do that within our own walls, as it were, although my team is spread out sort of globally, then I think you're onto something. So yeah, people, finding the right people, making sure they're aligned around the company culture, biggest challenge.
Yeah, not the first time that one's come up.
No, I'm sure. And a bit of a cliched answer, but yeah.
Not really. No, it's there's a reason it comes up, isn't there? Okay. With the benefit of the knowledge you have now, and the benefit of hindsight, if you were sitting having a conversation with your 18-year-old self, what would you say?
Yeah. So again, this was one that I sort of scratched my head to come up with an answer on. I think it's great to have a big idea, and throughout my sort of career, as it were, I've always had sort of big ideas, and I've always sort of tried to work towards them. The problem sometimes with big ideas is that you really need to understand the baby steps to sort of get to the big picture. And all too often, entrepreneurs and creatives, and I count myself as both, rightly or wrongly, can become so obsessed with the big idea that they almost forget the baby steps and the fact that you need structure and process and people to achieve that sort of big idea. So I would probably say to my 18-year-old self, take your time, pace yourself, break it down into baby steps. Find a coach that can guide you through the process. Find someone who's been there and done it to some degree, and yeah, pace yourself and try not to bite off everything in one go.
Yeah, great, thank you. If you had to reflect on all of your experience since you've been in business, and then isolate one piece of advice that you give to the other business owners watching this, what would it be?
Ooh, I mean, it's the eggs in one basket thing. I think, the way we're approaching that as a business is, we have a very, very focused proposition around travel demand management and around sustainability, and specifically reducing the carbon footprint created by travel, which is a major problem for most organizations, 80% or so of their carbon footprint. Yeah, the key bit of advice with a proposition like that is, it's resonant to so many sort of different diverse, sectors. And whilst keeping a focused proposition is not to put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you're approaching the different sectors and markets that can really get value out of that proposition. So, this time around with my company, we are covering live events predominantly. We're really entrenched in the live events sector, and that covers everything from festivals to theatres to major sporting events. But we're also working with local authorities to provide low carbon travel planning to people visiting schools and colleges, which to all intents and purposes are live events of a description. So really understanding where your product and services can fit, and making sure that you approach those sectors, and don't sort of leave them out there. Don't be too scared, I think, of approaching different sectors.
Fab. Thank you. Great piece of advice. So,
well, we'll see. Hopefully it's a great piece of advice.
If anybody wants to find out more about your platform, what do they do next?
Sure. Yeah, I think you guys will put it later. I feel like I'm on YouTube. Click the link below. So yeah, I mean, as I say, we've got a quite rounded out value proposition around sustainability and environmental and social governance. So to find out more and to find out how you can reduce the carbon footprint, specifically of people traveling to and from or within work in your organization, yeah, please click through, select the right sector for you, and yeah, we'd love to talk to you and find out more about your business.
Brilliant. Chris, thank you for sharing your insights with us today, and the best of luck with all of the plans going forward. Great to meet you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Andy. It's really appreciated. Thanks to the team at Business
Cheers.
Spotlight.
Cheers.